They say Prince Harry has lost his purpose, that Meghan Markle is just chasing dollars. But what if the truth is far more powerful and far more threatening to the institution they walked away from? There's a curious pattern in how the press tries to frame Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The same outlets that once praised Harry's bravery and charisma now use his compassion as a weakness. The same Meghan they once hailed as a global fashion icon and philanthropist is now reduced to petty narratives about wine and wardrobe. This week's hit piece, masquerading as royal commentary, suggests that Harry is adrift, that Meghan can't help him, and that their so-called failure to captivate the public means their worth has diminished. But make no mistake, this is less about Harry and Meghan and more about the institution they challenged and how badly that institution wants them silenced. Let's begin by pulling the mask off this article's framing. It opens with a smug dismissal of the couple's post-royal ventures, podcasting, documentaries, a memoir, influencing, and then it pivots to the claim that they've only chimed with the public when they've criticised the royal family. That's simply false, and it's also incredibly manipulative. The Oprah interview wasn't a dirt-dishing session, it was a cry for justice, for truth. It was a couple fighting for their survival, mentally, emotionally, even physically, in the face of an archaic, brutal machine that viewed them as expendable. The Netflix docuseries wasn't a revenge piece. It was a love story, a human story. And Harry's memoir? It wasn't about throwing stones. It was about finally being heard. Let's talk about that for a moment. When Harry spoke out in Spare, he didn't just recount palace life. He laid bare the trauma of a young boy who walked behind his mother's coffin for the sake of public optics. A man who watched the British press tear his wife apart with racist innuendo while his own family stood silently by. And now they dare to ask, who is he without throwing stones? He is a veteran, a father, a mental health advocate, a champion of wounded warriors through the Invictus Games, a man who turned his pain into purpose. And Meghan? Meghan is a powerhouse, a mother, a philanthropist, a woman who rebuilt herself after being targeted relentlessly by the same press that now dares to accuse her of being too influencer-focused. The same Meghan who penned a powerful op-ed about miscarriage, who fed families during COVID, who stood in a Harlem school reading to children, is now being painted as nothing more than a brand builder. Do you see the game? When they speak, they're whining. When they're silent, they're irrelevant. When they work, it's grifting. When they rest, it's failing. It's a lose-lose designed to wear them down. But here's the truth they won't print. Harry and Meghan are thriving, not because they play the game, but because they broke free from it. Now, let's dissect the article's next twist, the implication that Harry is struggling to find purpose, while Meghan supposedly chases lifestyle dollars. There's so much classism and sexism embedded in that notion. Apparently, when King Charles hosts a wine tasting in his gardens, it's charming. When Meghan launches a wellness brand with carefully sourced ingredients, it's shallow? Please. This same Meghan created Archetypes, a podcast that dissected stereotypes used to diminish women. She brought on thinkers, activists and trailblazers to elevate global discourse. But sure, let's reduce her to outfits and rows if it fits the tabloid narrative. The article also claims Harry's charitable documentaries haven't made waves, but that's just bad faith journalism. His work with the Invictus Games continues to grow every year, empowering veterans and building bridges across nations. And his docuseries on the struggles of wounded soldiers and mental health is touching lives in ways these columnists will never understand, because empathy isn't measurable by clicks. What's especially telling is the quiet desperation behind this piece. It's built on the false idea that Harry and Meghan have nothing left to offer unless they attack the royals. That says more about the royals than it does about them. Because what the firm fears most isn't another interview. It's that Harry and Meghan succeed without them, that they build empires of impact beyond the reach of courtiers, handlers and PR cleanup crews, that they forge new paths that don't require tiaras or balcony waves. Then we get to the part of the article that attempts to normalise the senior royals, portraying King Charles and Queen Camilla as hard-working public servants in need of rest. And yes, Charles is undergoing treatment and we wish him health and strength, but we can't ignore the double standard. Charles is lauded for spending a week at Castle of May while still glancing at red boxes. Meghan was criticised for overstepping when she dared to advocate for paid family leave in America. The king gets sympathy for juggling cancer with ceremony. Meghan got dragged for daring to hold her husband's hand during royal walkabouts. The press isn't here to report, it's here to manipulate public emotion. And let's not even get started on the sugary portrayal of the Prince and Princess of Wales and their savvy social media strategy. The same people who mocked Harry and Meghan for doing a Netflix doc now praise Will and Kate for filming their children like influencers. One family is modern, the other is manipulative. One is human, the other is a PR product. But here's what Harry and Meghan have always understood. You don't change the world by asking for permission. You don't heal by pretending the wound was never there. You don't raise free children by staying chained to a broken system. They walked away from a palace that preferred image over integrity. And the punishment for that is a media war designed to wear them down. But here they are, still rising. So when this article sneers that Harry can only find purpose through charity, we say, what's wrong with that? Isn't that the point of public life? He doesn't want a crown. He wants to contribute. He doesn't need to be king to be kind. And Meghan, she's showing the world that you can be stylish and serious, profitable and principled, private and powerful. That's the threat. That's the revolution. So, Royal Sussex Squad family, as always, we see through the lies. We honour the strength it takes to walk away from the noise and keep doing the work. We celebrate a couple raising their children in truth, compassion and freedom. Not under the weight of titles, but under the light of purpose. Let the palace rest in Scotland. Let the tabloids sneer. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are building something real. And if that scares the establishment, so be it. Prince Harry knows there's only one way he can find purpose again, and Meghan can't help. In this week's edition of Emily in Palace, our royal editor looks at what's in store over the summer, the end of Harry and Meghan's Netflix deal, and royal dressing with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Netflix deal reportedly toast what will the couple do next. In the 5 years since quitting the royal fold, they've tried podcasting, documentary making, writing a memoir and influencing, but nothing appears to have chimed with the public. The only time people have tuned in or feigned interest is when they've dished the dirt on the royal family, with millions tuning in to watch their infamous Oprah interview, then their tell-all documentary, and finally Harry's bombshell memoir. So who really are they when they're not throwing stones at palace windows? It's something Harry has been trying to grapple with, having failed to make waves with his Invictus Games and polo documentaries, and throwing himself instead into the one thing he knows he can do: support charities. The king's son knows that they've reached the end of the road with hurling attacks at his family and can't afford to release a second memoir or speak out again if he is serious about reconciliation. Meghan seems happy enough to pursue the influencer route, selling wine and making money off her outfits. But for someone who's been raised to do good, Harry isn't finding settling into Montecito life quite so easy. Over the coming months, we're sure to see the Duke do more of the work he knows and loves, working with causes he cares deeply about. It may not pay the bills, but it will help him find a purpose that he's so sorely missing. I remember all too well that feeling of relief when breaking up for the school holidays each year. Another busy year over, no more exams, homework or absorbing large amounts of information in a stuffy classroom all day. Just the chance to put my feet up and switch off for the next 6 weeks. That's how I imagine the King and Queen must be feeling, having started the summer slowdown after what has been a hectic royal schedule over the past few months. From a one-night stay in Canada to hosting the Macrons at Windsor, the senior royals have kept an impressive diary of engagements over the past few months. Charles still undergoes regular cancer treatment, but even a health blip in March couldn't slow him down. The couple will soon embark on the annual pilgrimage north of the border and are expected to head to the Castle of May, located in Caithness on the north coast of Scotland, ahead of the May Highland Games next weekend. They're set to spend about a week there before travelling to Balmoral. The workaholic king will continue to work from Scotland, reading diplomatic papers in the famous red boxes delivered daily. And though he'll be free from public duties and meet and greets, he's likely to hold the odd audience and could interrupt his break if there is a pressing event. Last year, he headed to Southport after the horror stabbings and social unrest, and this summer he is expected to mark the 80th anniversary of VJ Day on August 15th. The King will have time to unwind until the diary gets back into full swing, with a state visit from Donald Trump providing a sharp return to normality. In the meantime, however, Charles is expected to enjoy long walks on the 50-acre estate, host family gatherings and visitors, including Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, while the Queen will no doubt be looking forward to curling up with many a good book. Let's hope they can enjoy a well-earned break and reflect on how successful the first part of the year has been. By royal appointment, I've spoken a lot about the monarchy's soft power, and especially the importance of royal dressing, where decisions are made about what messages the chosen designer, colour or pattern can quietly convey. During the recent Macron state visit, the Princess of Wales wore a dress from French fashion house Givenchy, and this year we've seen the King use a number of symbols, such as wearing a red tie and planting a maple tree to show his support for Canada. Last week I went to watch a play dedicated to showcasing the power behind the royal wardrobe by royal appointment. Writer Daisy Goodwin charts key moments of Queen Elizabeth's reign through her fashion, including the time she dressed in the colours of the EU flag after the Brexit referendum and her infamous bright orange coat. With witty one-liners sprinkled throughout the show, it was the perfect homage to the late Queen, even if there were a few historical inaccuracies. It was surprisingly moving and reminded me that there are no coincidences in sartorial decisions. Kate and William are normalising the monarchy, the Prince and Princess of Wales are succeeding in making the royal family more relatable through their savvy social media approach. Last year, they introduced videos as a new way of storytelling, giving the public a rare glimpse into family life. This has continued into this year, as instead of simply sharing a new photo of their children to mark their birthdays, we're getting a behind-the-scenes film as well. It started with Prince Louis's birthday in April, and last Tuesday, an adorable video showcasing the close sibling bond between the Wales children was released to mark Prince George's special day. Smiling, laughing and acting as all children should, the new approach helps to highlight that at home, the royal family are normal people too. Before we go, if you appreciate the truth-telling, the love for Harry and Meghan, and the fight for fairness in media, don't forget to hit that subscribe button like this video and leave a comment below. And if you'd like to support this channel and keep the Royal Sussex Squad growing, please consider sending a super thanks. Every contribution helps us keep telling the stories that matter. Until next time, Squad, stay strong, stay kind, and never let the crown silence your voice. They tried to bury them, but they didn't know they were seeds.